There's one power, invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power, indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power.
Good morning. Such is the nature of life that all it asks and all it wants is the opportunity. You are that opportunity, and so am I, and so it is. Welcome, everyone, to CSL Midtown, coming to you this morning from Atlanta, Georgia. We're so happy that you're here with us. We, of course, welcome all people, no matter who you are or where you are in your life. We welcome you. If you're either listening online or right now live or on a recording, we're glad that you are here. Our center is diverse and beautiful in that it reflects the true nature of the diversity of life. So we welcome you, whoever you are and whatever path brought you to be here today. Know that you're in the right place and this is the right time for you. We know that you are an individual expression of the divine life in which we all live. You are welcome to participate here today and to become part of this community. We hope that those of you who are watching our broadcast on social media will like and share this with your friends. And for a better understanding of who we are, when we teach, listen now to our Declaration of Principles as written by our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes.
A few of the Declaration of Principles we live by.
I believe in one God, one absolute power, and first cause to all things.
I believe that this power is perfect love, and it creates out of a desire to express love.
I believe all thought is creative, and how I choose to think creates my personal experience.
I believe in the unity of all life, and the immortality of the individual soul forever unfolding.
I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of God to all.
And so it is.
So grateful, hey.
All right. Well, my name is Judy Aehle, and I am one of the moderators and the practitioner for today's service. I wanted to just mention before we get into this that some of you may or may not know that Charlotte Harper, who joined us many times online and was a longtime member and friend of CSL in the old Atlanta church, made her transition about a week ago. She was in the upper years of her life, and she went peacefully, and all is well. And her family had a celebration of her life this past weekend. Or last weekend, yes. Anyway, I just want to mention that because there might be people who know her and were thinking about her. Anyway, happy Father's Day to all the fathers and to all of those who father in their lives. And happy Juneteenth, which is upcoming this week. And happy yesterday, No King's Day. It's a lot to celebrate right now. Well, the theme for June has been in living color. And this week's theme is, it's never too late and it's never too soon. You know, in this teaching, we know that we are surrounded and immersed in a perfect life that is, it is completely normal, safe, happy, harmonious, and a peaceful existence. But, you know, Ernest Holmes, our teacher, says, but only as much of this life as we can embody will really become ours to use. So it's the embodiment. But it's never too late or too soon to recognize that we have the power to embody the qualities of harmony, love, joy, peace, prosperity. Despite our circumstances, we always have the power to change our relationship to the events in our lives. Many of us were drawn to the Centers for Spiritual Living, this kind of teaching, because we are a community that celebrates the power of affirmation. These spiritual practices help serve us as reminders that spirit is always present and available. And we are invited to remember that our lives are a reflection of our mindset. So, regardless of where we are in our lives, it's never too late or too soon to embrace our personal understanding and connection to the divine. Now, let's circle back for a minute to Juneteenth. In honor of Juneteenth, let us know that it is never too late or too soon to celebrate the freedom that we advocate in our communities. We honor not just this historical event, but a divine truth that every human being is endowed with the right to be free, that every human being is created by this presence that we call God, that is endowed with the rights for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So let us remember that freedom is not just a destination. It's a daily journey, and it's never too late or too soon to celebrate the freedom that we experience now and to advocate for the freedom for all. Each act of kindness, each step towards justice, each moment of standing in strength with others of like mind brings us all closer to the fullness and the freedom of our own spiritual magnificence. With that, I would like to lead us now in an affirmative prayer. So if you will just take a moment to relax wherever you are, close your eyes, allow yourself to take a couple of slow, deep breaths to bring your focus and your attention to being right here and present in this divine moment. And as we do this, I bring my awareness and recognize and know that this presence of life, this goodness, this love, this divine energy is all that there really is. It is everywhere present, always, in everything, around everything, through everything, and in and around and through me and through each one of us that's listening here today. So I just know the oneness. I know the wholeness, the completeness of this oneness. It is never divided against itself. We are never separated from it. We are always one with this power, one with this presence, no matter what may appear to be happening in the world around us or in our own personal lives, that we can always open ourselves to embody the truth of this life, the truth of vibrant health, of fabulous prosperity, of divine wisdom, of love, of endless opportunities, of deep faith, of harmony on every level. So we just allow ourselves and open ourselves up to this truth, knowing that this is it. This is the moment. This is the moment that we can embrace and allow this truth to express through us. We turn away from any ideas of lack, limitation, struggle, frustration, despair, depression, worry, fear. We turn away from all of that. We address it if it comes up for us, but then we release it to know that we live in a world that is this presence. It is a power for good. It is love. It is peace. It is joy. It is goodness of every kind, and that this presence and power meets each one of us right where we are, allowing itself to express through us in greater and greater ways. So I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for being here today and for this community and for the connection and the service that we're about to participate in. So I'm just grateful for this. I release this treatment now, knowing that it is so, and so it is. Now we have music for reflection.
Winter fields lying still, say goodbye. Tomorrow will bring the new. We're moving on, going forward. Watch the dawn. Always change, blankets old. Letting go, it's good, we're told. Warming sun, open seeds, growing wild. Calls to me then, close your eyes and feel the world. Hold on tight if you're in this world. Don't look back, there's nothing to leave. Feel your freedom to fly. Go on now, just Riverstones, vacant sun, roughness smoothed by river song, moving towards the open sea, flowing wild, calls to me then back to winter, long dark nights, laying dormant, decrease the light, thoughts arise from the deep and move you toward your dreams to keep. Close your eyes and feel the world. Hold on tight, you're in this world. Live your dreams with no disguises and feel your freedom to fly. Go on now, just
All right. Well, today we are happy to welcome back to our center Reverend Dr. Jerry Troyer, who is an ordained CSL minister and holds a doctorate degree from the Emerson Theological Institute. He currently serves as board president of the affiliated New Thought Network, a membership organization of New Thought, Unity, CSL, Divine Science churches. Reverend Jerry is also a founding board member and currently director of relationship development for Urban Street Angels, an organization in San Diego that works to end youth homelessness. He is also the author of the book, Coming Out to Ourselves, Admitting, Accepting, and Embracing Who We Truly Are. We are pleased to welcome you back, Reverend Jerry, to CSL Midtown. So nice to have you here today.
Thank you so much, Judy. Great to be with you. And thanks to Vance and Judy and Maya and Diego for giving me the opportunity. It's great to be back with you. As you can see in the background, I am in a hotel room in Louisville, Kentucky, so a little ways from home and pretty close to you all. So great to be with you today. And whether you're watching live or watching later, so thankful for the opportunity to share some ideas with you. This is a very rich day. We can go in many different directions about Juneteenth, about Father's Day, about a variety of things. So we'll see where we go with spirit today. I love this theme for the month of June in living color. And I was thinking about the olden days, and whether you remember or not, that's okay. And whether you've seen or not, that's okay. But I remember black and white or monochrome television. I Love Lucy, Perry Mason, some of the other really cool shows that I love to watch. But then noticing the difference between the monochrome, and it's just okay, and you can see what's going on, but not too much, versus in living color, and the vibrancy and the passion and the joy of being in living color and living in living color. And I would suggest that very often we find ourselves in bondage and in slavery, even though we celebrate Juneteenth, but we stay in that experience ourselves. And so I'm going to be talking about that today. As so very often happens whenever I am talking with you, I am also talking to myself. So thank you so much for being with me as I do that. So as you probably know, Thursday of this week, June 19th, is Juneteenth. And my topic, Free at Last, Releasing Ourselves from Bondage, remembering the quote from Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech, I have a dream. And the quote is, free at last, thank God Almighty, I am free. We are free at last. And as you probably know, the phrase was a line from an old spiritual, possibly the title of a song, as it represented the idea that slaves were finally free after death, with Dr. King's premise that hoping and praying that that freedom would happen while they and we are still alive, rather than waiting until death. So Juneteenth was declared a federal holiday, recognizing the freedom of formerly enslaved Black people. The commemoration traditionally takes place on June 19th to remember the day in 1865 when Major General Gordon Granger arrived in the state of Texas to share the news of the Emancipation Proclamation, announcing the official end of the Civil War. So keeping in mind in 1865, they could send a letter, but it would take a long time. They couldn't call, they couldn't telegraph, so he had to go in person. So remembering that very important day. Juneteenth was signed into a law as a federal holiday in 2021 by former President Biden. And the first Juneteenth celebration took place in 1866, 1 year after Granger's order. It was referred to as Jubilee Day or Freedom Day in many places. So what do we mean by the word slavery And again, I would suggest to us that even though thankfully this is no longer our experience in this country, so often in our personal lives and in our day-to-day lives, we still experience some bondage and some slavery. And so how do we look at that and release that no longer serves us? Today is Father's Day, as you know, and if your relationship with your earthly father was not a Hallmark card, was not all it could have been, I hold you in my heart for that. Thankfully, mine was. My father was an amazingly wonderful person. But if yours wasn't, thoughts of regret, resentment, the need for forgiveness could be keeping you in bondage as well. And we'll talk much more about that. But today is always a great opportunity to look at that no longer serves us and lovingly release it. So this bondage and this slavery, if you will, resentment to someone else about what happened, regret about what we did or didn't do, fear about what's going on. And I will agree with you that there's a lot going on out there. And we'll talk more about that as well. And our story about what happened and what they did and what we did and so forth. So I have a dear friend, haven't seen her in a while, but Dr. Edith Aehle. She is a Jewish woman who spent time in Auschwitz where she watched family members and friends be tortured and put to death by the Nazis. But she came out on the other side in the 1940s, immigrated to America, rose out of poverty, and went to college. She became a high school teacher and continued her education to receive a master's degree in educational psychology and a doctorate in clinical psychology. She has written 2 books and lives in La Jolla, which is a very nice upscale area of San Diego. One of the books that she wrote is The Gift, 12 Lessons to Save Your Life. And in the book she writes, many of us experience feeling trapped in our minds. Our thoughts and beliefs determine and often limit how we feel, what we do, and what we think is possible. While our imprisoned beliefs show up and play out in unique ways, there are some common mental prisons that contribute to suffering. Now, she does not identify as New Thought, but I bet as I share these 4 principles, I bet you've probably heard a few of them before. But if you're like I am, it never hurts to be reminded. So the 4 psychological principles: learned helplessness, that we suffer most when we believe there's nothing we can do to improve our lives. Whether we flourish after we harness learned optimism, the strength, resilience, and ability to create the meaning and direction of our lives. To say, yes, this is how it has been, but this is not how it needs to be moving forward. I can change it. I have the power. So from learned helplessness to learned optimism, and you might have heard this next one before, our thoughts create our feelings and behavior. We can and must replace our negative beliefs with those that serve and support our growth. What do we think about all day? It wasn't me, but I would love to know who first coined this. If we're not using our minds, who is? Is it the news media? Is it somebody else? Because there are thoughts and we decide what to think. Consciously, we can decide what to think. So moving to learned optimism, our thoughts create our feelings and behavior, unconditional positive regard. Much of our suffering stems from our misconception that we can't be loved and genuine, that if we are to earn others' acceptance and approval, we must deny and hide our true selves. But we become free when we stop wearing masks and fulfilling the roles and expectations others assign us, and start unconditionally loving ourselves. As you probably know, June is Pride Month throughout the country, and in major cities around the country, there are parades and festivals and so forth. In San Diego, ours is in July, and because we know how the weather is in Atlanta, with all love and respect, in June and July and August, y'all's parade is in October. As Judy mentioned, I work with an organization called Urban Street Angels, and we provide bridge housing and employment and other services for homeless 18 to 24-year-olds. We have about 145 young people last night had a warm and safe place to sleep because of one of our programs. And the youth that come to us at age 18 have aged out of foster care, or they've come out to their family as LGBTQ plus and have been rejected, or were in an abusive situation and had no home to stay in and wound up either couch surfing at a friend's house or sleeping in a carport or actually on the streets. So often they come to us with anger and shame and resentment and regret and all of those other emotions that, I don't know about you, but if I was facing homelessness or even the possibility of it, I would have the anxiety and depression and everything else. And so a big activity for Urban Street Angels every year is to participate in our Pride Parade in San Diego, having a big float and inviting the youth, regardless of their sexual orientation, to come and march with us in the recognition that they are the beloved. They are the essence, expression, and experience of spirit, just as the rest of us are. That anything that's happened in the past has no bearing on their truth of who they are, and especially for them, their past need not determine their future. So this is really big for us, and we're working on the big float for next month. But I invite us to consider, what decisions do we make about ourselves based on, or about our lives based on what we believe about ourselves? What do we say yes to? What do we say no to based on what somebody told us last week or last month or 50 years ago? What is keeping what belief, what truth, and that's in quotations, what truth are we keeping as our own that's not really true for us, or is no longer true for us, that we are ready to lovingly release without anger or judgment? Just, this might have been true for me at some point, but it is not true for me now, and I choose to move forward and be free. Can we say yes, thank you, and more please to the universe, and allow spirit to do what spirit does for us? So just to review, moving from learned helplessness to learned optimism, our thoughts create our feelings and behavior, unconditional positive self-regard, and finally, our worst experiences can become our best teachers. In this book, she talks about her experience in Auschwitz and how she was able to move through it while people around her were dying, and how she lost her family and she did not know what was next for her, but she could move forward staying grounded in her truth. So our worst experience, because something happens, but we get to decide how to react or respond. We can get ourselves knee deep in it, or we can keep moving forward and knowing our truth. So in the book, she writes about that freedom is a lifetime practice that requires hope, the awareness that suffering, however terrible, is temporary, and and I love this, and the curiosity to discover what happens next, because this too shall pass. You know, in more than 450 times in the Bible, the story starts with, and it came to pass. How important it is for us to recognize that wonderful times and time together and chocolate cake are temporary situations. And heartbreaking, oh my God, what am I going to do? Experiences came to pass. And so we can greet them and meet them and walk through them with that curiosity. I don't know what's next, but I know that I am safe. I know that I am loved, and all is well. Because if we don't, we are in bondage and in slavery to the fear and the worry. And I don't know about you, but my experience has been that never gets us anywhere or gets me where I want to go. Remembering the words of Job from the Old Testament, the thing that I have feared the most has come upon me. So how important it is for us to stay in that positive, in that hope, in that curiosity about what good the universe has for us next. She says, hope allows us to live in the present instead of the past, and to unlock the doors of our mental prisons and release ourselves from that slavery to the past. And my favorite quote from the book, and I'll remind you, it's The Gift by Edith Eger. Amazon has it. And the quote in the book, she writes, the most damaging prison or bondage is in our mind, and the key is in our pocket. The key is in my pocket and your pocket. I love A Course in Miracles. I resisted it for years and years. My late husband was going to a book study on Saturday mornings, and I'm like, yeah, you go do that. I'll go to the gym, or I'm going to wash the dishes, or I'm just really busy, or whatever. And then one day, the still small voice got a word in edgewise and said, you need to read this. And so I opened it and could not put it down. It is so amazing. And one of my top 3 favorite quotes is, I could see peace instead of this. I could see peace instead of this. On this day when there's a lot going on, and the peaceful protests yesterday, and the remembrance of Juneteenth coming up, and Father's Day, and all the rest of this, I could see peace instead of this. Because I don't know about you, but my experience has been that life happens. The good and the awesome and the passionate and the wonderful and the scary and the cruddy and the fearful. It does. But I could see peace instead of this, in the recognition that I am always divinely guided, I am always loved, and I never walk alone. So when life happens, how important it is for us to have that relationship with our, and this sounds like traditional Christianity, but bear with me, our Heavenly Father, and whatever concepts you have of our higher power, God, Spirit, the universe, the infinite, the divine, whatever we choose to call it, how important it is to have that personal relationship with Spirit, because when we do, the foundation of our teaching is our spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer. So what happens when we say, and so it is? What happens, or amen, however you end your treatment work, what happens after that? Can this higher power, can Spirit, can the universe be relied on to do what we said we wanted? Or are we just hanging out there hoping for the best? Charles Fillmore, the founder of Unity, said that the inexhaustible supply of Spirit is equal to every demand. And quoting the rest of that, there is no degree of difficulty in lack. There's no truth in lack. Abundance is here and now manifest. Slightly paraphrased, but you get the point. But think about that word demand. To me, it sounds like I'm going to go out and stand in the parking lot and shake my fist at the sky. That's not what this is. The demand is the absolute knowing that I am free. In this moment, I am free from those old beliefs. I am free from that resentment. I am free from that regret. I am free from that old belief that kept me playing small, and I move forward in this life of joy and abundance and possibility. Again, who are we talking to when we do our affirmative prayer? Are we still stuck? And I come from traditional Christianity. You might as well, not bashing anybody, but the concept of the old, white, straight, hateful, cranky God up on a cloud somewhere, how important it is for us to release that belief and honor and celebrate the loving, nurturing presence that Jesus talked about in the New Testament, but also to keep checking back with ourselves. What do we really believe about God? Have we slipped back into that old residue? And do we need to remind ourselves that life always says yes to us? And if we're not getting the manifestation or the demonstration or the answer that we're looking for, it's not about us talking God into doing something. It's about us going back to see, what do I believe about that? Because I could see peace instead of this. I could see joy and abundance and passion and possibility instead of this. Knowing that, again, that Spirit always responds to us as we believe. So that's one of your homework assignments, is to just check in and see, what do I believe about God? And am I good? And if not, quoting my dear friend Edwin Gaines, what must I change about myself in order to receive whatever this is? And it is our belief in lack, our belief in struggle, our bondage and slavery to those old beliefs that there's not enough somehow, that our money, that our love, that our relationships, that our peace is all pie, and there's only so much to go around. And I would suggest that I love that expression. None of it is pie. It's all possibilities are open and available to us. So we do our work, and I honor and celebrate yesterday and the willingness and the wisdom for people to come out and speak their word, and in a peaceful, loving, nurturing manner. So we do our work out there in the world, but we also do our work in here, because life is lived from the inside out. And so whatever we're doing out there isn't going to make any difference unless and until we release ourselves from the bondage, from the slavery, from the nonsense that we might have been carrying with us for years or decades. Today is a great day to heal that and to release it. So as we begin to, and again, recognizing that the key to this freedom is in our pocket. So as we begin to look at and release anything unlike love, the resentment, the regret, forgive, Father, if we need to, start to begin to release, because it's a process, not an event, and I get that, but release anything unlike love related to our earthly fathers. We begin to feel the presence of Spirit within us and the possibility to create this most amazing life, because that's what we're here for. That is absolutely what we're here for. And to sleep at night, and to see the joy, and to see the possibility, because again, we could see peace instead of this. Then we can honestly say, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last. Would you join me in the light for just a moment? So in the peace and the quiet of this moment, we give great thanks for technology, for the opportunity to be together, for this glorious day when so many things are happening, for the opportunity to be reminded of the truth of our being, that we are the essence, expression, and experience of spirit. And moving forward on this day and this week, we choose to consciously remind ourselves of that we are the divine, that we are the beloved, and we are always divinely guided. And so we choose to release that which no longer serves us. We choose to reach into our pocket, retrieve the key, open the lock, and be free. Because it is our divine right, it is our divine possibility, and we say yes, and yes, thank you, and more, please. For this beloved spiritual community, for our time together, we give great thanks. And together we say, and so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Dr. Jerry, for an awesome talk this morning.
My pleasure.
And we will see you over on Zoom in just a little bit.
Yep.
All right. So now I'm going to do our New Minister Sacred Covenant Easy Prayer, which you can read along with me. And there is only one life. This life is good. This life is God. This life is my life now. And knowing that I am one with this life that is God, I therefore know that I am one with all of its blessed expressions, which include the presence of a new minister for my beloved spiritual community. Because I know that the highest purpose of my new minister is to express spirit, I therefore know that my new minister is a revelation of spirit as principle. I further know that my new minister is the fulfillment of that which has been promised by God, for it is written, principle is not bound by precedent. It operates according to law, and it is always available to those who are willing to align themselves with it. As I stand in agreement with my beloved community, I see my new minister before me as inspiring spiritual oneness through wisdom, love, and authenticity. I now intend to experience my new minister in full cooperation and agreement with my community, knowing this truth about myself. For I am inspired to live as love in the expression of principle. I am awakening the wisdom within me by clearly communicating the principles of universal truth. I am a conduit of divine love, wisdom, and healing energy, recognizing the inherent wholeness within all beings. I am offering teachings, classes, and mystical studies grounded in spiritual principles to cultivate inner wisdom, personal transformation, and empowered living. I am extending the love, compassion, and transformative power of spirit into the wider community, fostering connections that heal, uplift, and support individuals in their unique journeys. As I now accept the highest expression of a new minister into my life, I know that they will be revealed in a way that will express spirit and serve the highest and greatest good of all who are touched by their presence. I am grateful God is gracious, and so it is. And it's now time for our conscious giving. You can go to cslmidtown.org/donate or scan the QR code that shows up on the screen here and say with me our affirmation of prosperity. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. And we appreciate all of your contributions and ongoing gifts. And now we get some announcements. Our June theme is in living color. Next week, Sunday the 22nd, we're online again. And the speaker is Dr. Tracy Brown, and We're Still Together is her topic. Thanks, Judy Aehle, for being our practitioner today. Every Sunday before service, we have a study group that starts at 10 a.m. on Zoom. You can get there by going to cslmidtown.org, scrolling down to the Zoom link and clicking that, getting on there. And you can download the New Minister Sacred Covenant prayer from the website too, right on the page, the home page. Just scroll down, click that, download that, read that every day with us as we expand our consciousness to invite this new minister in. And with that, we are working on bringing speakers to do classes and workshops with us, to bring in potentially some additional financial abundance, and looking at an auction, an online auction coming up in the fall. So look for those things coming up. If you would now say with me our affirmation of life. I leave this place now knowing something better than I knew before. I go forth into the world with a heart full of love and a mind full of good sense. I look at the world in a greater way, knowing that I have within me everything I need to create the life I desire. I give thanks for this understanding, and I am grateful for the spirit of life that lives through me. And so it is. Have a great week, everybody. And if you want to join us over on Zoom, we can have a discussion with Reverend Dr. Jerry Troyer.
Hey, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. Hey! Oh yeah. Grateful. I just say I am so grateful every day for all I have. Every day. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all I have. Every day I say it. Grateful. How I'm grateful. Every day. Oh yeah. I am so grateful. Oh yeah. I'm so grateful. 'Cause I accept and I receive. I am so grateful. Oh yes, I am. I am so grateful. Hey, grateful. I'll just count my blessings. Grateful. I just count my blessings.
There is a power for good in the universe greater than you are.